Monumental Moments, where we live to multiply His movement. I'm Melissa Machenbacher, and this is a place we passionately pursue and proclaim Jesus. Today's monumental moment is titled, Caution, Do Not Enter. Bright red caution tape almost screamed, "Do not enter," as it flanked the outskirts of the parking lot and repeatedly posted the phrase that you wouldn't quite expect to see in this context. "Do not enter" surrounded the church and the parking lot. My mind had trouble comprehending what I was reading in bold print as I saw the church with its beautiful white steeple with a cross on the top towering in the skyline off into the distance. "Do not enter," I said out loud as I read it off of the red plastic tape as we drove by. My husband, wide-eyed, briefly took his eyes off the road to lock eyes with mine. This was a clear unwrapping of another monumental moment. We were both silent for many minutes after. What a statement. Now, in all fairness, the church and the parking lot were under construction at the time. I'm trusting that there would not be a Christian church anywhere in the world that would post a sign stating, "Do not enter," without a legitimate explanation or a serious construction project that was already underway. That image continues to plague me years later, almost as if a crime scene. This visual helped me to contemplate and ask myself if there may be anything that I have done through the years that may have made people not feel welcomed into the local church. Or are there things that I've done that have made people question why they would ever desire to be a Christian based on the bad rap that I or God's people can give His church? Yes, we're all human. We all have faults. We all make mistakes. But are we being wrongfully judgmental and condemning of others? Have you asked yourself this before? I sat on this question for some time. As believers, we make up God's church. We are His church. The church is more than a building. It's God's people. Are we practicing humility and reflecting on our own shortcomings before we would ever point at others? Are we compassionate or condemning? Are we leading people to Christ or pushing them away from Christ based on our actions and our statements? Do people look at us and feel loved and valued and desire to know what it is that's so different or special in our life? Do people see Jesus or judgment in you? Jesus begins to conclude His Sermon on the Mount in Matthew chapter 7. Matthew 7, 1-5 says, "Judge not that you may not be judged. For with the judgment you pronounce you will be judged, and with the measure you use it will be measured to you. Why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own? Or how can you say to your brother, 'Let me take the speck out of your eye,' when there's a log in your own eye? You hypocrite! First take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye." It's been said many a time we are not to judge others. The word judge in this context is referring to condemning others or treating them with disdain as if they don't measure up. Jesus does not forbid evaluating sin for what it is, but He does not make room for pride and arrogance that would allow you to see yourself better than someone else. Galatians 6 tells us more on this topic. Galatians 6, 1-5 says, "Live creatively, friends. If someone falls into sin, forgivingly restore him, saving your critical comments for yourself. You might be needing forgiveness before the day's out. Stoop down and reach out to those who are oppressed. Share their burdens and so complete Christ's work. If you think you're too good for that, you are badly deceived. Make a careful exploration of who you are and the work that you have been given, and then sink yourself into that. Don't be impressed with yourself. Don't compare yourself with others. Each of you must take responsibility for doing the creative best you can with your own life." Have we individually or collectively created an epidemic and an atmosphere that make people not feel welcomed into God's church? It's a fair question for us to ask. Let's together work to help tear down the do not enter tape that we may have helped to put up around the four walls of the local church. The church is the place for all of mankind, sinners and saved alike, because of our Savior. Can we consider being like the Apostle Paul when he wrote to Timothy and explained that Christ came into the world to save sinners, of whom I'm the worst of all? May we acknowledge our own shortcomings. I am thankful that I, once a very pronounced sinner, was told about Christ and welcomed into his church. Are you thankful for that too? Who in your world needs to be seen, welcomed, and invited to church this Sunday? Will you be the one to invite them into God's house? Help them to see Jesus over judgment and receive a personal invitation. Let's take down the barricades and the barriers and show people Jesus. How can you make monumental moments and live to multiply his movement today?